Good morning, friends and colleagues, distinguished delegates. As you've heard, my name is Shaukat Abdulrazak. I come from the International Atomic Energy Agency. And let me say that I'm really honored and pleased to be back home so that I could share with you some thoughts. I prepared a speech, but I decided to leave it aside. I think this is a very important gathering, and I would like to speak from my heart. Every time I go to a summit like this, people keep on asking me, are you sure that Africa is ready for nuclear power? And of course, I always say yes. And after I've said yes, many questions come. If we cannot be able to manage household wastes, do you think we can be able to manage nuclear wastes? If we cannot keep time to attend our meetings on time, do you think Africa will be ready to start and be able to operate nuclear power programs on time, and so on and so forth? But I think this is a different conversation. And every time I come to a meeting like this, I ask myself, how can I touch your hearts? Because we cannot bring every African in this room. Go outside there and tell people all the peaceful uses of nuclear science and technology. It is unacceptable that 600 million people in Africa have no access to reliable source of energy. It is unacceptable that almost 60% of the population, as Alicia said, the young generations are not involved in an agenda like this. And I want to thank US for these initiatives that started the journey last year in Ghana. We are in Kenya, and I'm meant to understand that next year, hopefully, we're going to be in Kigali in Rwanda. How can we be able to continue with this narrative? It is very important for us to get these facts and figures. Before I go to nuclear power program, let's have low-hanging fruits. It is nuclear energy that we can be able to use to diagnose and treat cancer. Yet 75% of the population in Africa has no access to diagnosis and treatment of cancer. It is the same nuclear technology that we can be able to use to determine the strength of buildings, bridges, infrastructure, using non-destructive testing. Yet Africa has not embraced this technology to the level that is accepted. What do we need to do? I think we need to do exactly what we are doing here. By coming together and be able to share information and be able to collaborate and be able to build linkages, collaboration and cooperation. A lot has been said about capacity building, and I'm glad we have vice chancellors in this room. How many institutions in Kenya, in Africa, offer courses related to nuclear science and technology? At all levels. How can we help? And we are here as International Atomic Energy Agency with a lot of numbers of capacity building programs. We can be able to do that. So it's very important for us to continue with this narrative. Looking at the youth that we've spoken, Alicia has spoken about, and I really want to focus on this. Because this is a huge investment. It's not an investment of 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. It's an investment of 8 years. If you're going to set up a nuclear power program today, so you can imagine, I've always said this, there are people in this room, in this continent, that probably they are not going to be on the driving seat when that nuclear program is going to mature. That's why it is very important we continue with mentoring program. It is very important that we continue with training program so that we can have young generation to be able to embrace this technology and be able to move forward. We're all faced with climate change, as you know, and this is the technology that has got the least or the small footprints compared to fossil fuel, for example. That we can be able to use it, but you know what? We need to do a lot of work because there is a lot of misconception outside there. That, as my colleague, the moderator, was saying, whenever you hear about nuclear, and I'm managing 49 countries in Africa, whenever you hear about nuclear, I get ministers asking me, are you coming to talk about nuclear bomb? They even forget that the IAEA is a nuclear watchdog, that our role is to make sure that the technology is used in a safe, secure, and peaceful manner. That means there is a lot of work, even back home here. And I'm glad Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Kilifi, is here with us, Her Excellency. That in my home village of Kilifi, even up to now, people are wondering, is this really safe? And it's not only Kilifi. I was privileged to speak before the youth congregation in Indonesia. 75% of Indonesians who are saying they need nuclear power program. But again, 75% of the population where they had interviewed people for the siting, they said, thank you very much, we need it, but not here. So I'm seeing the same situation, for example, in Kenya. We saw the same situation in Zambia. There is a lot of work that needs to be done. This is a safe technology. We cannot be able to bring the technology that is going to be detrimental to the environment. This is a safe technology. It's a clean technology. Can you imagine, Excellency, Deputy Governor, putting this technology, for example, in the coastal Kenya and be able to desalinate the water from the Indian Ocean? The problem of water at the entire coastal region is gone. At the moment, when you visit that region, you will see how people are struggling to get clean water. Just that as an example. But then there are many other advantages. But do I blame people? No. We need to do more public participation. We need to involve the youth. We need to involve women. 50% of the population of Africa are women. And here I am glad that at the International Atomic Energy Agency, together with WIN Global, Women in Nuclear Global, WIN Africa, and now we have almost 20 national chapters in the entire continent. So it's a conversation for all of us. And I want to say that we are on the right trajectory here. We are on the right path. We just need to make sure that we can rise up, raise our voices and talk about the positiveness of nuclear. The challenge is with us. We are very shy when it comes to area of nuclear. We have gathered here, we are convened here, but after this we leave everything in the room. And we leave those who are against nuclear voices go higher and higher. And people tend to believe this is a negative rather than a positive thing. I think we need to change. We need to change. I am glad that Africa is changing. Around 13 countries in Africa are now embarking on nuclear power program. And the IAEA, we have the necessary tools to help you using the 19 milestone approach from A to Z with 3 phases, with several inner missions that you can be able to determine. Youth is very important. Women are very important. Scientists are very important. But in this sphere, more important is political leadership, the visionary leaders of specific countries. Because in Africa, I have seen when the leaders in Africa speak, others follow. We need to be in the churches. We need to be in the mosques. We need to bring old people, everybody around the table. We need to talk to elders so that they can be able to understand. The days when we are going to continue using firewoods is gone. And the misconception and the perception that Africa continues to be the consumer of technology and not producers of technology is the thing of the past. The world is not about to slow down because Africa is lagging behind. We must leapfrog and catch up with the rest of the world. We must embrace technology. I was privileged to serve at the National Economic and Social Council for 6 years, managing all areas of nuclear science and technology, advising the government in these areas, mentoring several youth, funding more than 100 innovators. And I know the brains that we have in Africa. These are untapped potential brains of the youth that we need to have programs. And as I said last year in Ghana, leadership programs that is going to involve everybody so that we can be able to have the necessary leaders, the necessary managers to be able to continue with this narrative. Above all, we have to change the mindset. I think in Africa, in my opinion, I stand to be contradicted. We are just afraid. It's all about mindset. We need to change our culture. We need to change our thinking towards science, technology, and innovation. Because this is the foundation of both economic, social, and political. Can you imagine if this country and this continent has got a reliable source of energy 24/7? How are we going to be? We want to industrialize. Energy is the backbone of industrialization. There is no way we can industrialize if we do not have energy. And we are saying nuclear energy is part of the energy mix. And when a country has decided, and I see quite a number, as I've said, we come in and help with capacity building, with training, with the necessary tools of energy, of nuclear power program. We also have tools to do with energy planning so that you can be able to understand the supply and demand of the energy, different energy sources. So I think this is a great opportunity. But my appeal to everybody here is let's become the agents of change. Let's all agree, as we said in Ghana last year, that we are on the right trajectory, that we are on the right path, that we would like to make sure that we forge our path forward and be able to collaborate, cooperate. There is no need to reinvent the wheel. There is a lot that we can learn, and there are a lot of lessons that we can learn. If people have taken 15 years, 20 years, we can take slightly less because there are lessons that we are able to learn there. So mine is once again to thank all of you and really to assure you that the International Atomic Energy, under the leadership of Director General D.G. Grossi, that we always stand ready to support capacity building, to support your endeavors, to support your vision so that you can be able to include nuclear energy in your energy mix. Because I believe, I have the conviction that this is the right way to go in the long run, because Africa would like to industrialize, just like the way we have said it, or the way it's been said under the Agenda 2063 of the Africa Union. The Africa that we want, we would like to industrialize. We would like to create opportunities and employment, and it's the only way to make sure that you can be able to have adequate industries. No way you can run these industries without a reliable source of clean energy. And I'm here to confirm that nuclear power is one of that option that can be put around the table. Once again, I thank you, and I'll be looking forward to continue engaging and be able to discuss with you. And as Alicia said, if there is any of colleagues here, especially the youth, if you like us to engage more, if you like us to discuss more, I am available either here, or we can be able to continue the conversation, online using social medias and so on and so forth. Once again, let's get this agenda forward, and let's all become the agents of change so that we can take this agenda to the next level. Thank you so much, and God bless.